Good morning and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio. As Lee said, my name is Bob Martin and I'm pleased to be the President and CEO of Imagine America Foundation. The current coronavirus has posed a number of challenges to each and every one of the participants on today's panel. We know how hard it is for you to sort out your life, and we really appreciate you taking the time out to sit in today's panel. What we're going to do is plan at the end of the session to have some very brief updates provided by Dr. Coyle relative to UTI and UTI's campuses and how they're reacting to the current coronavirus epidemic. Joining me today in today's session of Imagine America Radio is my foundation colleague, Lee Doubleday. Lee and I are excited about today's session on automotive technology sponsored by Universal Technical Institutes. UTI is a country's leading provider of high-quality, career-focused education with 12 locations nationwide. UTI is also a 20-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award Program, having provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 15,000 enrolling Imagine America students. Without taking valuable time from our presenter, I'm going to let him answer any inquiries and possibly direct any inquiries related to Imagine America to our website, which is www.imagine-america.org. Automotive technology careers are some of our most popular programs in career colleges. Since our beginning, Imagine America remains the leading provider and sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces serious challenges in finding enough certified, qualified automotive technicians. We hear from employers literally every day about how desperate they are to find these people. But we decided that we need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation, UTI. Joining us today to discuss for UTI in detail the looming automotive technician shortage and how UTI is helping meet the shortage is Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle is a nationally recognized expert in this area with extensive K-12 background. Before turning the program over to Dr. Coyle, let me very quickly outline today's agenda. This session of Imagine America Radio will be a maximum of 30 minutes, including questions and answers. Once we finish the remarks, we're going to move directly into today's presentation. All participants can submit questions while the presentation is in session via the chat feature in this Zoom meeting. At the end of the presentation, or approximately 10:25, we're going to offer up all possible questions that have been provided to us and ask Dr. Coyle or one of either Lee or myself for any answers. We will address any questions that are not answered in a follow-up response. We will have a hard close at 10:30. So without taking out any more time out of today's presentation, let me turn the session over to Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle.
Well, thank you, and good morning to everyone that's out there today in this very trying times. We do appreciate your effort to be on this call with us. I want to get right into the agenda for today, which is threefold. We'll start first with challenges facing the workforce, followed up by opportunities in the automotive industry, and then finally, Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. Starting off with the changing workforce. The workforce has changed tremendously from the 20th century to the 21st century. As you can see on the chart, in the 20th century, we were very much an agricultural manufacturing economy. Today, that's just not true. Today, we are almost totally service-oriented, which is quite an about face from what we've been used to in the past. You can all attest to this yourself. If you own a house, if you own a car, if you own a washing machine, you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to trying to find people that can help you, that can work on these things, much less someone that's highly qualified. So the workforce has changed quite a bit. I would make note too, if you would see that in the 20th century, agriculture was at 41% of our economy. Today, it's only at 2%. Don't let that mislead you. We're feeding more people with 2% than they are with the 41%. But the difference is technology. And that's something that UTI focuses on tremendously. A recent survey was done in 2016. 150,000 Boy Scouts were surveyed and asked, how many of you would like a skilled trades career? And as you can see on the chart, a whopping 3% said they would want to have a skilled trades career. Those same students were then asked, how many of you would like a STEM career? And over 45% said, yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And there lies the disconnect. There's a problem with students today. They don't see the connection of STEM and skilled trades. Unfortunately, that also is true with many educators too. They tend to look at STEM as a white collar type of career and skilled trades as more of a blue collar career. And so that STEM is only important to the white collar sector and not the blue collar. And that's just not true. In fact, that it's very much the opposite of what it should be. And that's something that we strive to get across to students and to educators. STEM versus non-STEM education. The STEM field is growing quickly. It's been, I think about a year ago, I had the opportunity of speaking after an admiral at the Naval Academy. He stood up and he spoke about their elite, their exclusive STEM program. And he said only the top 15% can even qualify for this. It is so elite. It is so, like I said, so elaborate what they did with those students, but only the top 15%. I spoke to him after his presentation. I said, I really enjoyed your presentation, but I have a problem with what you said. Why do we only have 15% of our students with STEM? And he said, well, as I said, it's a very exclusive program. I said, well, what I'd like for you to do is tell me an occupation that doesn't involve STEM, because it's hard to find. STEM is around us all the time. So the STEM field is a growing field, and that could be no more true than in the auto industry. The opportunity we have right now is only about a fifth of the jobs in this country require a bachelor's degree for entry. And at the same time, we have almost half of our college graduates walking around today. They're in occupations where they didn't even need their degree, or they're not even using their degree. They've gone on to something else and not even use it. And that's alarming, because we have these students walking around with student loan debt, and they're not able to repay it, or they took on a debt that they just didn't need in the first place. Okay, I talk a lot about the old SMART versus the new SMART. And I get a lot of questions about this from educators. What do you mean by old SMART versus new SMART? Well, in the old SMART, the goal was get into the best school you possibly can. Doesn't matter what you want to do, get into the best school you can. Then when you get there, figure out what it is you want to do. And if you do figure that out, then you come out with a degree and you say, here I am, world, hire me. And that just doesn't work in today's world. And you might even look at that and say, well, how ludicrous is that? Who in the world would think that way? Well, look at the admissions scandal that's going on right now with Felicity Huffman, with Lori Loughlin, and some of our other celebrities that try to buy their students' way into the prestigious schools, so to speak. So it does still go on today, and we're seeing that it really doesn't apply to the workforce that we have today. So the new SMART is a 180 from that. The first thing we want to do is find out, what does the student want to do in the first place? What is their passion? What makes them get up in the morning and get excited about what they want to do? Last year, I spoke to at the National FFA convention, and I challenged students there. I said, the best thing you could do is go into your room, lock the door, and figure out what it is that you want to do, and then come out and sell it to everybody else. The reason why I say that is because what is the question we ask all little kids? What do you want to be when you grow up? And my challenge to counselors all over the country is, why do you stop asking that question? Keep asking that question. Find out what it is that student wants to do, and then support them in it. One of the things, as I said, for them to come out of the room and sell it to everybody else is, we tend to talk kids out of things, because what do they say they want to be? They want to be a fireman. They want to be a policeman. They want to be a teacher. They want to be an auto technician or a diesel technician. And that's great. But we say, well, that's nice. That's wonderful. That's cute. But, you probably won't be able to make very much money doing that. Or, that they're just not, that popular of careers. Why don't you pick something else? So we tend to coach kids out of it. And so that's why I tell students, stick to your guns. What is it you want to do? Then after you figure out what you want to be, then figure out, what program do I need to get there? Do I need a bachelor's degree? Do I need an associate's degree? Or do I just need competency-based credentials? And that then will determine what school that they will attend. Why would they want to go to the University of Missouri when they want to be a cosmetologist? They could go to a good cosmetology school or something on those lines. So that's why we talk about how important the New Smart is today. The rule of 127, many of you have heard that, but maybe many of you haven't. I found that a lot of educators have not heard of this, but the rule of 127 is very simple. You take 1, 2, and 7 together, that totals 10. So for every 10 careers that are out there today, only 1 requires an advanced degree, meaning a master's degree or higher. Only 2 of the 10 would require a bachelor's degree. 7 of the 10 careers available today only require an associate's degree or a competency-based credential. 7 out of 10. But here's the other disconnect we have right now in our economy, is that we are pushing students into college and universities at the rate of 70%. So you can see we're doing just exactly the opposite of what the economy is dictating to us. Skilled trades require STEM, no doubt about that. The university for all mentality is it's a myth. It's not true any longer. It just does not work. When we talk to students all the time, one of the things that I say is that, or tell educators, is you need to get rid of the word college in your vocabulary. It's misleading, misguiding, because when you say college, they say, okay, you're talking about the University of, or the College of, or whatever. They don't think about trade schools like UTI. They don't think of maybe a cosmetology school or a welding school, something like that. Those are not in their mind. When you say college, they're not thinking that. So I always challenge educators, get the word college out of your vocabulary and use the word, or use post-secondary education. And remember what employers are looking for. They're looking for competency-based credentials. What do you have that you can bring to the company or to the organization? When you go in to have your car repaired, you see the little picture frames on the wall. You don't honestly expect to go over there and say, oh, wow, a master's degree in brakes. Oh, wow. Oh, this guy's got a doctorate in transmissions. What you're hoping to see is they have ASE certifications that they can fix your brakes, and that you can have confidence when you pull up to the stop sign that your car is going to stop. The second part of our agenda today is opportunities in the automotive industry. There's no doubt about it that these cars and trucks they're rolling computers. It's just a given. You look at everything that's on vehicles today, it is amazing to see, what there is available. Things that maybe some of you take for granted. For instance, if you have a 2017 or newer car, then your car is wired for autonomous driving. Now, I didn't say take your hands off the steering wheel, please, but what I'm saying is that car is capable of autonomous, of doing partial autonomous driving, I might say. For instance, I have a vehicle that I can drive from here to Springfield, Missouri. I can go all the way up there and never touch the gas or the brake because of the technical, the computerized things that are going on in these vehicles. But you also have to think in terms of, these are life-saving things too. For instance, the blind spot indicator. The backup camera. I wonder how many lives have been saved by that backup camera, because we've heard tragic stories about people backing over children and things like that. So those things are so important to us. The pre-collision warnings that we have, all these things that are on there, they're vital because they are life-saving types of modalities that we have. But the problem here is, who is going to work on these vehicles? That's the problem we have. The growing demand in the transportation industry, it does not stop. We have 1.3 billion vehicles worldwide, 260 plus million right here in the United States alone. And I'm not speaking just about cars and trucks. I'm also talking about tractors and combines. These type of things too, they're there. And, the Department of Labor tells us that by 2026, the number of job openings will exceed 1.2 million. It's amazing, the growing demand for technicians out there in the field today. And then finally, we get into Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. We are very much industry aligned. We have alliances with 37 manufacturers. We teach differently. We teach to the competency-based credentials. We offer 3-week courses in which a student takes one course at a time. They're not taking like 7 courses at once. They take one course at a time, they master that skill, and then they move on to the next course. And that's very important. We customize their career pathway. We give them core training, and then we also offer them advanced training. And in some cases, that advanced training is manufacturer paid. So it's a wonderful opportunity for students to get that manufacturer specific training to gain the competency-based credentials that they need for this industry. We help students to find their passion. That's one of the things that we do in our in-home interview. You can't just come to UTI, you must be invited. And so we cover all the areas of auto, diesel, collision, motorcycle, marine, NASCAR, CNC, and welding. But we cover these with the student in the in-home interview to make sure that it's a good fit for them and that they are a good fit for us. And we also do this in the presence of their parents so that their parents understand exactly what's taking place too. We have campus locations all over the country. So you'd be hard pressed to find a campus that isn't near you in any part of the country. As I said, we have 35 plus industry relationships. These are the big dogs in the industry. These are the companies that hire our students, but these are the companies that are looking for those competency-based credentials. That's what they need. They don't want to get students that they have to train all over again. They love having students that are ready to go, so then they can tweak them as they get there and make them accustomed to their particular dealerships. But still, we're going to give them that boost, that training that they're going to need to be successful with these industry leaders. Why UTI? Well, as I said, we have 12 campuses across the country. We place 4 out of 5 of our graduates in their field of study, and that's very important because many schools tout their placement percentage, but ours is specific to their program. We don't count if they go to work for McDonald's. This is specific to that, so that's very important to it. And we have over 220,000 graduates out there that are in the field. We use a lot of graduate experiences. At our events, we always try to bring in our graduates because they're going to tell students, prospective students, the good, the bad, the ugly about it. And students will listen to their peers. So we like to show off our graduates, so to speak. Let them speak to future students because they know what it takes. You can see these three students right here on the screen. They all have one thing in common. Yeah, they have a smile on their face because they love what they're doing, but they all worked very hard to get there. We don't pretend. UTI is not easy. We get our students prepared because we want them to be successful when they get into the field. We offer financial aid to those who qualify. We are Title IV funded, so our students fill out a FAFSA. We make over $15 million in scholarships available to students. We offer housing grants to help students as well, institutional grants. We offer third-party programs to help students with emergency expenses called LIFE. So we offer these things to help our students to be successful. I purposely skipped the fifth one there, the trip partnerships. We have partnerships with over 4,700 employers. TRIP stands for Tuition Reimbursement Incentive Program, and they vary by employer, but what it does, it gives students, well, as we found out, and maybe you guys have the key that we don't have, but it's hard to get students to fill out scholarships, and you know this very well too. So what we do is we offer something to students at the end of the day so that when they go through their program, they work hard, that they have this waiting for them. They can get packages up to $25,000. And the way that works is they get paid, but they also get a check on top of that that they can put towards their student loans, that they can put towards tools or whatever they want to use. So that way they can handle their student loan debts very easily. We're here to help. We know what you do on a daily basis. I know very well because I come from the industry. I know what you guys do. And what we want to do is we want to partner with you. We want to assist you. We offer presentations. These are all free of charge in the schools. They're about a 45-minute presentation that we do in the classrooms all over the country, and we'd be glad to do that for you. We also offer professional development. I do a lot of professional development with school districts across the country, and everything that we offer is free to the students. So we just want to partner with you to help you in your daily tasks and what you have to do. We're very active on social media, so you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube. And then finally, this is my contact information, my phone number and my email address and my Instagram account. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, concerns, if you need some help with anything. That's what I'm here for. I speak to counselor groups all over the country, and I would love to work with you any way I possibly can. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and good luck with the world today and what you're having to face. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Coyle. We are now going to be taking any questions that have come in. If you have a question, please type it into the Q&A feature that is along the taskbar here for the Zoom meeting. It looks like we do actually have a few. I think Bob actually has a few questions that have come in.
Yeah. Dr. Coyle, the first question, we seem to get this on every one of the sessions, but if someone on this call wanted to talk with one of your UTI local reps, would that be best to go to the website, or would they contact you directly, or how should they proceed?
Either way, our website is very detailed. You can go to our website and you can request information, and just make an inquiry, and then we can channel that to the right representative. But if you feel better, contact me personally, and I can get you to the many of the counselors that have been on these webinars in the past have done just that. They just contact me directly, and then I disseminate that information to the proper representative.
Now, the next question that we've got has to do with cost comparisons. Can you give us some idea of, you touched upon it very briefly in your presentation, but with regard to comparisons with community college programs and UTI program? Yes. Length of program, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and it's a great question. It's a fair question as well too. We're going to be more expensive than community college, no doubt about it. If you come to one of our campuses, or if you've been to one of our campuses, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because when you see what we have to offer, you can see why there's more cost involved, because of the inventory, because of the state-of-the-art equipment that we have and all those things. But you also have to look at it as well too, that that we have with the community college, they're going to be in school 2 to 3 years. UTI, they're going to be in school for 10 to 17 months, depending upon what program they choose. And so while they're still in school spending money at the community college, they're out making money. Many of our graduates are 19 years old, or maybe in their early 20s, and they're out in making a good income. So that the other thing too, that's a big factor, is the trip employers that we have, because they actually, when they take our graduates, they offer them these packages so they can actually help them to pay off their student loans. So that evens the playing field tremendously right there.
Okay. Now, Dr. Coyle, we are just briefly going to mention the elephant in the room, which is the coronavirus. And actually, I'd had a question come in from one of our counselors here that wants to know, now, as they understand it, UTI has moved from a hands-on learning training to a virtual lecture with hands-on on hold until the CDC approves students to go back to labs. How are you able to make such a smooth transition, and how are your students sort of responding to moving to an online format?
Well, it's, to put it very briefly, we've done an amazing job. We had to make the decision to comply with the CDC mandates and things of that nature. So we had to make those changes. And our online learning that we've had to go to, this is all instructor-led training, and all the assignments are done through the Google Classroom. The best part about it is that the students then can actually do their online work and continue their program. And then when this passes and we're allowed to go back to our campuses, then the students can come and do their labs, their hands-on labs they want to do. So that way they don't lose any time. They can still get out into the industry as quickly as they hoped to before. And one thing that you'll notice that in all of the essential versus non-essential lists that come out, every list I've seen so far has essential list is the auto shops and the dealerships. They're open because people need this.
Okay, yeah, great. And I just have one more question before we close. Are you, as UTI, I'm guessing, obviously still open, and are you still currently enrolling new students?
Yes, we definitely are. We've gone to very much virtual, and our field representatives, our admissions team have done a phenomenal job of reaching out to students, and we're seeing great results from this. We're definitely open. We do have staff at our campuses, although our campuses are closed per se, but yes, we are still out recruiting students, because when this does pass, and it will pass, we're going to pick up right where we left off and continue training students.
Now, Dr. Coyle, this is Bob again, real quick. To restate it, so everyone understands, we're going to do, Imagine America Foundation is going to do a separate session with Universal Technical Institutes, which is going to be a little bit more detailed about the campus situation. And we're going to be, we're scheduling that in the next few days, and you're going to see all of the participants will be able to see, will be able to be invited to a session like this to get brought up to date on specifically Universal Technical Institutes. This session today was scheduled well in advance of everything that's been happening. So that's why we didn't spend more time on it. But please look for more information from us. As I said before we close, we're going to be compiling all the questions that were brought up, and any of them that I guess it looks like we have one or two that we couldn't address. We're going to be putting that together. We're going to be recording the session. It will be available to all the registrants and the general public, and we'll be sending that out to you individual in an email. In addition to it, if you're interested in it, all the Imagine America radio sessions, of which there's now a growing number, some on coronavirus, some on skills trade, is all located on our website, which is www.imagine-america.org, and there's very detailed downloading instructions. If there's any topics or conversations that you think we should be addressing, you being the participants, please send us directly. You can get a hold of either Lee or myself or Dr. Coyle off all the contact information we've given you today. Before closing, I really want to thank every one of you that joined us today. This is a very unique time in our country, challenging in every way, both personally and professionally, and we know how valuable your time is, and we just want to thank you for taking time out of your schedules to sit down and listen to this presentation. If for some reason you heard something or you want to go back, all of this is on our website. Please feel free to go to that to download any of our information. I'd like to specifically thank Dr. Coyle. He's done yeoman work for us, and he really is 100% committed to you, the guidance counselor or the career counselor, to help that student that wants to look at skilled trade careers, STEM careers, and I would encourage you to reach out to him, contact him directly. On behalf of Imagine America Foundation, Lee Doubleday, myself, and Dr. Coyle, I'd like to thank you again and wish you the very best. Stay safe.